Karina's dropping hints. Fauna is part of the happening, and Jay and Fauna finally meet. All that on the I Am Tonight After Show.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Oh yeah, things are getting crazy in the I Am the Night. We're talking about episodes 3 and 4 today.
Correct.
We are.
We're midway through the show.
So excited.
We're dissecting Dark Flower and Matador. Those are the episodes. I am Jim Alexander, and to my left,
Hey guys, I'm Anna K. Thomas.
I'm Joshua Wright.
guys, we are halfway through, almost more so at this point. With tonight, the finale obviously aired, so we don't know what happens. We're talking about episode 3 and 4. A lot happening since last week when we discussed the first 2 episodes. What did you guys think of these 2 episodes? First thoughts.
So good. I'm glad that the worlds are colliding finally. I feel like we could have gotten here a little sooner, but we're here now. And I am so excited to see what little Miss Fauna gets herself into next.
Yes. I like Fauna. She's fiery. I'm glad that she's going after what she feels she deserves to know about.
Yeah, she's persistent. She is not let up. I'm really enjoying it. Like, I've been sold since day one. I've been in since the pilot, but this show just keeps on getting better. It's not slowing down. It's really keeping the mystery, and we're getting to it, but we're not getting that fast, too. So it's like inching to it closer. Wow, let's start off. Karina, she's playing a big part in all of this. Like, she's dropping these hints. She's kind of playing both sides here. You know, she's dropping a hint, then she's not acknowledging. You know, she's playing kind of games in the side, but she's definitely a cat and mouse thing. But she's letting him on a trail. What do you guys think about her involvement right now and her participation in this?
I think Karina is sinister. Okay,
Good call.
She is like you said. She's dropping the hints. She's not letting Fauna know enough information for her to go after her, you know, to find out what's going on, because she definitely knows more than what she's saying.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. But yet she's kind of dropping these little hints along the way, right?
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm kind of trying to figure out who's lying in this. Because Karina before was saying that Fauna's dad was white and he was like this French ballet dancer. And now we're discovering that she's lied, but I'm like, she's covering her own tracks. So I'm like, where is the truth in the story?
I think there's a little bit of both, because in a sense, I think a part of her knows how dangerous
Hodel is.
George Hodel is,
of
so
course.
she wants to kind of warn this girl from a disaster happening, but in another part, she doesn't want to give it away where it would ever be traced back to her, so she's covering her end, literally, very much so. But yet, she's giving enough hints and tips, even to Jay, we see in the episode, that phone call, that she wants them to pursue this case. And I don't know, what's her motive for them to even discover this?
Well, it's interesting, too, because she definitely is dropping these breadcrumbs for Fauna, but she doesn't really have a protective role either. So she's sort of like, Fauna's still definitely fending for herself. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. But, yeah, you do see her wanting to sort of help Fauna, I get. Like, it's just hard to tell what exactly it is. But there's nothing parental or maternal about this relationship whatsoever. It's very cold.
Yeah, I think she wants to protect Fauna, but not at the expense of losing herself. So she's giving a little bit of information. It's almost, I have this saying I say is helping without helping. You know, you see someone, your friend needs $500 because they have to pay a bill, and you give them $50 and say, hey, get some dinner. You know, it's like I'm helping you, but I'm not really helping you.
But you're pushing them also to be going that direction. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Maybe she's just giving her enough for her to keep on trying to pursue this and go along this trail.
Right, but why?
I don't know.
Maybe George Hodel did something to her, something
clearly
devious.
She's scorned.
Well,
she's his ex-wife. I mean, they're
that's the ex.
divorced for a reason. So I'm interested about that too. If they're going to dive into what really happened with that relationship, but there's so much to cover.
Well, also with Karina, like you said, she's calling Jay. But notice, she's always acting like she didn't call him.
Right. When they have that encounter later on, she's just like, oh, I don't know you. Like, get away from me, security or whatever.
And we found out that she knew he was following them all along. And she's the one that reported him to the police. So, girl, do you want help or do you not want help?
I think that's what I think she wants the help, but she doesn't want to give up her solitude or her safety for the help.
Right.
So it's like, Jay, if you can help me without being seen, I won't have to say anything. But if they see you, I have to make it seem like you're bothering me to protect myself.
She's a participant, but not a willing participant.
You
know?
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think she's a little
Josh
willing.
is not buying it.
I think she's a little willing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the kid in the classroom. He talks, but when the teacher leaves, and then when he comes back, it's the same kid who tells on you.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I'm feeling.
Good point.
I hope these analogies are helping.
I like them actually. It's making me think twice. But we can agree that she's a big part of this clue and unraveling of things. She's like really providing them with at least a motive to keep on going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, clearly, she's still in touch with Tamar.
Yes,
clearly,
that's true.
she knows
Yeah.
she's getting letters. Fauna goes into the house, sneaks in, discovers these letters.
Yes.
She's saying that didn't she say she died? She said that she died in episode 2.
Yes.
She
And
did.
so clearly, you're still getting postage from Hawaii from Tamar. So clearly, she is a big player. And I wonder why her and Tamar keep in touch. Yet she is so disparaging about her character, saying that she's a liar and this and that. She was easy and all
Because
this
she doesn't
stuff.
want Fauna to look for her to find out the truth.
Unless there's some sort of pressure on her too, or she knows she's being followed by others than
That's
Jay.
what I think.
That's true, yeah.
I
Yep.
actually think she's not that bad of a character in herself, but I think that the pressures of being in danger are making her not want to help Fauna as much as she could.
Because her initial time, first time we saw her at the end of I think first episode, it was when she called, when Fauna called her and she's like, stay away, and that was it. So that was her initial kind of reaction was like, get away, don't get involved. But now that she knows she went for it, she's trying to guide her along.
Exactly.
Okay.
And someone invited Fauna to the happening. So
Oh, the happening.
yes.
That's what I want to talk about, actually. What did you guys think of the happening? That was the weird and creepy stuff that we've been always kind of waiting to see what it's about. I think we got a good dose of this cult in the happening.
yeah.
That is a perfect word for it, cult. That
It's
is perfect.
scary, right?
Yeah, it is.
But it's sort of like what we all think about when we think of these things, right? Like art and these fancy rich people
Secret
with
societies.
excess, secret societies, sex, drugs, rock and roll, like all of that, And I definitely think it was interesting too because I was reading up about the episodes, and they don't use a lot of music in the episodes, but in this one they played the Rolling Stones. And it sort of played into this whole like party atmosphere, artsy, sex, drugs, rock and roll.
I don't remember that, but okay.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay.
And so I think that's really interesting that now they're shifting more into Hodell's world, right?
Oh my
Because
gosh. Hodell
it's
is
probably
something.
the most we've
He is-
seen from that.
Yes.
He's genuinely creepy. Like the way the show's like developing it and setting it up, I get legit creeped out more so than watching like a horror movie with
yeah.
him, with his society, because he's not that. On the surface, he's just kind of a regular guy, but all that the mystery about him and his outer world and the world surrounding him that's the scary part.
But because he's powerful.
Right.
Like he masquerades as a doctor, but he uses his power, his title to do manipulative things.
know.
You're having these secret parties at your home. I'm assuming it's in Beverly Hills, somewhere like that, Bel Air, somewhere where
Probably.
but he's able to hide behind the fact that he's a doctor. The call comes in, my granddaughter called me, so I'll take care of it. I'm like, wait a minute, that's the kind of person he is.
He's a man of few words too, which adds to the.
Okay,
a lot of
I know
action.
we have to talk about the happening,
Yes.
but can we just back up and talk about that opening scene with George Hodell's like secret sex party in
Yes,
1945?
yeah, we were gonna go there.
I feel like we have to talk about that first
We have
and then
to,
talk about the
yes.
happening.
Good point, good-
Oh my god.
I was shocked.
And then Tamar watching everything, and this might be too gross, but like in real life there were charges on the real George Hodell of maybe having some inappropriate relationship with his daughter Tamar.
I wouldn't be shocked about that.
Scene, I think TNT and they were just teasing at it. Patty Jenkins was teasing like, okay, maybe there was something weird going on.
Peekaboo.
The weird cowhide.
Yes, that thing that's
bull
coming up a lot
mask
more. Yep.
that we also saw on the wall in the oh my gosh,
In the museum.
in the
right?
museum. And so, you see this glimpse into this world, and you're just like, the way that they were treating the women, the way the girls were getting ready, saying, okay, now you have the mask on, now you're anonymous.
It was almost like a sex cult or some way, or like this slave cult of like it felt so inappropriate and bad, and like
then
just
poor little Tamar
Yes.
watching everything, and you just have to think, oh,
Yeah, he didn't turn
she
her
never-
away one bit.
She never stood a chance because she was kind of already, messed up in the head.
Her psyche's already
that would
terminated.
ruin anyone seeing something that crazy.
Yes.
And the thing is, what you guys think about TNT actually showing some actually revealing some nudity?
It was interesting.
I was shocked about that.
In that moment, you thought you maybe were watching HBO or Netflix.
Yes, that's what I thought. I'm like, is is this now going
The
on?
cinematography is excellent, right? The sound design, the production's excellent, and then you have that sort of raciness from a major network television station. Kind of crazy.
It caught me by surprise.
National Geographic almost.
Me too.
You know?
And when they were talking about the Black Dahlia, which I'm sure we'll get into later too, they showed, real images
of what it was like. Yeah, that's true.
So I was like, wow, TNT really.
But I praise them for that. Because they're allowing people to see what the real is.
I love that about the show, that they actually showed at the end of each episode, they show like the real person, a picture excerpt about it.
Yeah.
That makes it real. It's like all the stuff you're seeing here, this is reinforcing to the audience, hey, this has actually happened.
Yeah.
And they're trying to be as detailed and close to it as possible, because you see sometimes the side by sides and like, whoa, that's what we saw in the episode.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It brings us in all the way.
Yeah.
But that's such a good point. That party was something, and they start off the episode with it, and that was a way to get you hooked, right? And like your attention. Like, whoa, what is going on here?
I think that's why I like these two episodes. I really loved Matador and Dark Flower because I feel like we finally got the action and the punch that we've been set up for and waiting for.
I wanted to see more of George Hodel, and that's what I'm happy about.
Oh, I bet he's coming, honey.
He has to. But that's a setup. They've been building it up. We're getting to a point where there's only 2 more episodes. I think we might get a lot of him.
You want to see more? I want to see more.
I want to see what's going on up there.
I think I'm in between. I'm curious to see more, but I'm creeped out at the same time. With that. So you mentioned the Black Dahlia. We get more of that story. That's what kind of Jay's following or going back to. That's like his root of his chase at this point. What did you guys think of that kind of being brought up, that story to the surface now in the show?
I think that it was very important. It's like you said, it's the surface, it's the foundation of where Jay did start. And, also to mention that he did get the call from Jimmy Lee to say that he was onto something.
That's right.
So he, in the beginning, he was the type of person, he seemed like he was confused. He was, chasing stories. But now he's getting back to his roots to say, hey, this was a true story. Let me find out the bottom of this. And it seems like he's starting to see how the wires are starting to cross and make sense.
Yeah, I mentioned this last week. I really love the way that they're portraying the story, because I feel like I'm learning as Jay's learning. So I feel like his little co-detective, with my little notebook out.
Right. They bring us in as like the side by side.
Like you're a sidekick, and I'm learning more about the Black Dahlia. You kind of hear about it, and I don't know how much people knew before watching this series. But yeah, it's just like this crazy murder that happened in LA. It was never solved. Elizabeth Short got, bisected at the waist. It's just such a graphic, crazy story. And this was 1947.
Yeah,
right.
It was a crazy time back then in Hollywood, with the explosion of movies and cinema and just the power and the money and the LAPD being bought off, and it was just a crazy time.
Think about this. I was going to say that about the LAPD. Think about who would have the power to commit a crime like this and actually get away with it.
Exactly.
It wouldn't be a layman.
Right.
It has to be somebody with power and money.
Yeah.
Prestige. And someone. Wait a minute. And someone who could hide, in plain sight. They could hide in plain sight and masquerade as anything they wanted.
And this story happens where we're at in the show. It's about 20 years or so around after that fact. So it's far removed, but not that far removed from him being tied into it.
Exactly. And we see Jay, he sees the Black Dahlia newspaper, buys it.
Yes.
So we see him starting to make the connection. I think, as viewers, kind of knew there was some connection, but we weren't sure how it was going to get woven in.
He's creepy enough.
Now we're excited to see how it's going to play out, because the case was never solved in real life. So I'm like, okay, either TNT's making some bold statement saying this guy did it, or we're going to end up
was it solved and they were paid off?
Interesting ending here, which I'm excited about either way.
Yeah, no, I think it's these stories are kind of coming together and they're fitting in, and there's 2 kind of unsolved mysteries going on at the same time, and one is feeding the other.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of helping Jay along the way to put the pieces together. Yeah. Plus the interest of, the cultural interest of the Black Dahlia that we've heard and really don't know. It's being tied in and kind of explained to us too, even though it's not the main storyline of the show.
Absolutely.
I like that they're adding that other layer to it.
And also you were talking about how they end the episodes with real life facts.
Yes, of course.
So obviously, we see Jay sort of really put things together when he's in George Hodel's museum.
Yes.
And he's looking at all the surrealism and the Man Rays and the dolly, and we actually see real artwork at the end with these sort of bisected, idealistic women, and you're just like, oh my God.
Because it comes from real life.
The inspiration came
from? No, totally.
I mean, it's wild.
Yeah, I'm around artists a lot. Their inspiration comes from real life. All artists, drawers, music, fashion designers, it comes from real life experiences.
Yeah, it makes sense. Something that strikes you or sits with you that you've observed and seen or witnessed. You know, and you would incorporate your take on it to make art. And you can see, I love the scene actually. Jay's just like Google-eyed looking at this, like completely stunned. But it's such a good take too, and it's such a good shot of him just looking like, oh my goodness.
And poor Jay's already been through a lot anyway.
Yes,
he's something. Jay is something. I mean, I want to help him if I could, you know.
I know. Don't you feel kind of bad for him a lot of times? Just like, oh, this is a poor soul, but he means good. But man, he's got a torture inside of him going on.
I feel bad for him, but I'm also like, get it together. Like, this is your shot. Like, stop doing drugs. Stop, having overnight visitors.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Wrong place, wrong time. Yeah. Although he has been, honestly, in these 2 episodes, he has been at the right place at the right time.
Yes.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any friends.
Poor Fauna would not have made it out if he did not.
He's losing friends. Even his buddy, right?
Yeah.
The former guy he served with that always bails him out.
And
Finally cut him off.
Yeah.
I think we saw that. That was a big...
Yeah, Jay is spiraling so out of control. He literally almost got his eyes gouged out.
Yeah.
I mean, that is an insane place to end up in your life.
But that scene, it's what makes me think that Dr. George Hodel is, siphoning money through the LAPD. Because at this point, Jay had not done anything when he apprehended him. They came in the house. They came in his apartment, apprehended him, and took him to the police station.
That's right. Yeah.
And he was just lying there. And then he says, the lady reported that he was following her. But that's not a crime. Mm-hmm. Where's there a crime to be going to the same place someone else is going?
Yeah. There's no proof.
I mean, really heated over here. Where's the crime? Where's the crime?
So, but that's when I'm like, well, someone, even though, the LAPD wants to do their job, but at this point, it seems like they're trying to protect someone who's helping them.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of helping us, all you fans out there, help us contribute by watching this show and commenting, right, Anna Kay?
Exactly. So you guys, if you're watching YouTube right now, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. We want to make sure that you guys see all of our content. No matter where you are, leave us a comment. We love hearing from you guys, and we try to incorporate that as much as possible. And if you are on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, because it always just helps us out here at AfterBuzz.
It does.
So we thank you guys so much for always joining us, listening in.
Yeah, and that's why we talk about the show, for everyone else to share their thoughts and comments and theories on it. And there's so many theories going on so many levels of the show. Are you guys getting overwhelmed at some point with all these different kind of new reveals and characters coming in? Because I've enjoyed it. I'm actually keeping along with all of them. It's not overwhelming. But have you guys encountered that maybe?
I like it. One of my favorite parts is Fauna's relationship with her adoptive mother's family. Mm-hmm. When she came to LA, and they took her in right away. They told her, they say, hey, we're family. You're part of our family. We're here to protect you. And I like that her cousins are there to help her out and give her perspective, help her around the city so she can understand, hey, you're from Nevada. Things don't work the same way down here in Los Angeles.
I wanted to ask you guys about the relationship with Terrence. He seems to be like a really good guy that's looking out for her. And that's someone she really trusts. You can tell and has gotten close to, and kind of similar to LA because of him. What are your thoughts on Terrence?
Okay. I am with everyone here. I have not watched through the end of the finale aired tonight. Mm-hmm. We haven't. You have. Yeah. So I don't know what's gonna happen. So this is not a spoiler. This is just like a little thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know if poor Terrence makes it out of this series alive.
Oh, okay. No. That's a prediction. I could have been save that for later.
Honestly, he's such a good guy. He's helped her so much. Yeah. But we start to see little cracks when he's starting to see how dangerous she is and how being around her.
He calls it out.
Could hurt himself. So I'm like, either he's gonna peace out. He might be collateral damage. I don't know, but I really want her to have some support, and he seems like the only person in this world besides Jay.
Yeah. And the other guy got
was it Lewis?
Gone. Yeah. Well, Lewis is back home,
he's
right?
Back home, that's what I mean.
But then the guy that was hitting her at the party and hitting her up on the phone.
Cut out, Nero.
Well, but y'all didn't see that coming.
Well, I honestly thought he was gonna hurt her, so I was kind of glad when Nero got.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. He didn't have good intentions.
No.
But I didn't know he was gonna get offed like that.
You couldn't tell the music. He hung up the phone. He said that disrespectful.
I'm gullible, Josh. I believe everything. I'm like, ooh, what's gonna happen next?
When he said that disrespectful phrase to her on the phone about his tongue, and then he hung up the phone, I saw Hodel's right hand man following him. Remember, the camera shot down.
And they were recording the conversation.
That's right. That's right.
Said, oh, and so then when it turned out that he was dead, I said, well, that's not a surprise.
You were right on it, Josh. I was kind of over it.
Me too.
You know, speaking of that guy, he's all over the place now. Like, we first thought, we saw him in the first episode all the way in Nevada. He's constantly on her trail. Where is his... We know he works with Hodel. I mean, that's been revealed that he's kind of his lackey or henchman or whatever. Where do you think it's going with him, or it's gotten to this point? He's been a big part, but we've barely heard from him at all. He's just there.
I know. I like this because it shows. So his character's name is Seb, and so I like this because it shows that everyone has their breaking point. So you can be in, you can be all in. He's worked with Hodel. Clearly, there's been some shenanigans going on for a number of years. It seems like, and Hodel may have like saved him from some poor situation,
or has got something on him,
or has helped him in some way. And Seb feels like he owes him. I'm not quite sure, but you see him wanting to break free and saying like, "Oh, I'm not just your side henchman. Like I'm my own star."
Right.
And then Hodel makes that reference to Icarus, who famously it's like Greek mythology, flew into the sun, burnt. And so it's very interesting because in Seb wanting to break free led to his own demise.
That is true. Yeah, it's like don't challenge George Hodel too much because you will push the buttons and go off the cliff.
Like don't bite the hand that feeds you, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know now. You can bite the hand that feeds you, but you need to get the arm, the shoulder, and everything else.
That's right. Yeah. Or else it'll be separated. Okay.
But
there you go.
I think George Hodel knew about Fauna years ago.
Oh yeah.
Because there's no reason why you have your henchman, as you put it, in Nevada watching her. He knew who she was, and he was making sure that she never found out who he was. That's my take.
Even
on
at that train station. Now we always look back at that encounter they had at that train station when she's like, "Oh, I'm going to LA to visit and find my family."
Right.
And
y'all didn't know that was Dr. Hodel then?
Not initially.
Not
no.
initially.
Oh my God.
You are like
missing something.
This guy should be solving the Black Dahlia crime. He knows, catches everything.
Come on, okay, guys, follow me here. Guys, gentlemen and gentlewoman, follow me here.
Go ahead.
So you're sitting there. There's a guy you've never met before who's obviously interested in you for no apparent reason, and then when you say, "I'm going to find out about a family member I've never met before," he says, "Oh, that should be interesting." That makes me look at you kind of...
Didn't she initiate the conversation? They kind of... I don't know if she sat next to him and she started opening up before. He didn't say much at all.
He asked her like how her day was.
Right.
And he pulled out a cigarette. So, okay, a cigarette is a social cue.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Back then especially.
Yeah, and then he's crossing his knees, his ankles. I don't know how y'all did not see this.
Body language doctor right here. Dr. Josh.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, gosh.
Solving everything. But that's such a good point. No, it makes sense if you really put it.
I thought he was just another like henchman, like kind of like Sep, like another weird character.
They're psychopaths. They're able to blend in. They're chameleons.
Oh my
yes.
God, that's true.
Oh wow.
No, I mean, and he's so subtle about it, especially now I think it's pretty clear to this point that he knew of her and
why was he there?
Well, I mean...
How long had he been watching her?
Maybe he got a tip-off from his henchman who's following her around.
Oh my God, my little brain.
Yeah, and that's why he shows up at the bus station where she was supposed to leave. That's the only way for her to get out of town. She didn't have a car or anything.
I think it was maybe a sign.
But why did he want to see her then? Like, Sep could have done it. He didn't have to see
what she looked like.
Yeah,
to know what she looks like, literally, because he probably knew of her but didn't know exactly what she was like, and there's that face-to-face interaction.
That's true. Gosh. That's a good point. I think it was partly that, like, let me lay my eyes on her, but I think the other thing was a warning. For me, if a stranger comes up to me in that situation and I know that I just spoke to someone on the phone a couple of days ago or whatever, I'm going to be watching that person like, why is this person all of a sudden interested in me? Like, there's nobody else around. There's grass everywhere. There's sand everywhere for you to smoke this cigarette. Why are you sitting next to me? That's how I looked at it. And then she's an innocent girl.
She's very naive, though, in a lot of ways, too, especially when she was leaving Nevada.
Not anymore, though.
Not anymore. No, she's changed a lot.
Oh, she's changed a lot. One scene I love that I think shows how much she's grown is the cafe scene with Jay.
Yes.
Where they're having the pie, and she's still kind of giving a little too much, and she's still trying to figure out her own sense of self, her own womanhood, she's doing her own little PI investigation, right? But when she's like, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom,
Dips.
And she is gone.
And tell me y'all saw that coming.
I saw that coming.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
okay.
I saw that coming. You don't go to the bathroom.
I saw it coming in after a minute.
Okay, all right. When Jay figured it out.
Right before.
Jay was late to the party.
A second Jay figured it out, AK figured it out. So it wasn't bad.
Okay. What do you guys, that leads me right to it. We finally see that interaction in episode 3. Jay finally connects with Fauna.
And
they finally meet.
What an amazing moment when it's Sep versus Jay.
Yes, that stare down.
Yeah.
Oh my
that
God.
was fire.
She had no idea who to pick. It was so exciting. You're with her. I mean, we hope. We kind of hope we know that she was going to pick Jay.
Of course.
But I still was nervous in my mind. I was like,
they milked that minute. Like, whatever it was, that stare down, she's in the middle of it. I didn't know if they're going to go at each other or I don't know if one was going to attack the other. I didn't know what was going to happen. That stare down, that stillness and kind of subtleness of it, that was... They built so many moments in this show, and then when she's in the house and he's looking for her.
Oh, and she's scaling down that pot. Even before.
Before that, she's against the wall and hiding. Like, I'm literally there on the edge of my seat, on the edge, waiting, like, oh my God. Like, you're so invested because they built the suspense and moment so well. And they take advantage of every moment. They don't waste any moment on this show, and I love that.
Yeah,
beautiful.
It keeps us
beautifully
interested.
Done. Yeah, and then when she, she nearly misses Sep in the house, and he goes out to the front. You see her shimmy down the little.
Right.
And
like
Jay's watching it over.
What is going on?
Yeah.
And then he's trying to get her, and then she's trying to decide, oh my God, like, I know Sep's a bad guy. I know it. But I have no idea about Jay. And
it's better to go with Jay.
You can see her hedging her bets. Like, okay, it's going to be danger versus danger.
Yeah.
What's going to be the worst for me?
And the unknown guy versus the guy you've seen around that hasn't given you a good vibe is probably a better thing.
He followed you from one state to the other.
Right.
I'm not going with him.
Yeah, and you just, like, literally played, like, this game of cat and mouse in the house of trying to avoid him in a way.
Unless we're dating. I don't want any guy to do that.
I'm telling you.
Even then. But we get Jay and Fauna's first kind of interaction in a car, and then they go to a diner, and he gets her pie.
Yeah.
But the thing is that she's not gullible. I feel the Fauna that just arrived in L.A., or before that, she probably would have spilled the beans on everything, but she's interviewing him, and he's doing the reporter thing to her too, trying to get little nuggets. Oh, well, what's your full name? What's your name? She's not giving it to him. They're playing a little game here, and she's holding her own.
Well, she started to figure it out because since she's gotten to LA, the first thing was Dr. George Odell didn't see her. That was her first sign. She said, something's afoot here. He hasn't seen me. He told me to come. I've called him multiple times, and every time I call him, he's either busy or unavailable. Then something's up. So now she's starting to pay attention to all of the other characters who are approaching her, and she's proceeding with caution. That's very important.
I agree. I mean, she's really, like we said, she's grown.
I was riveted by your explanation. I was like, oh, that's good.
Oh, thank you, AK.
No, it's such a good perspective. Like, through episodes 2 to 3, you saw some growth, and 3 to 4, you saw tremendous growth in her, and just awareness and her putting it together. Remember, she's kind of doing this on her own, and she doesn't know who to trust. And the show sets up in so many ways where she's literally kind of pinned in between, and she needs to make a choice and who to trust and not. I think now she's starting to take bits and pieces from everyone and not trusting one person and putting it together, which is the smart thing to do.
Well, let me ask you all this. How do you feel about her ignoring the warnings from Jimmy Lee, her adoptive mother?
Well, we had an interaction with them too, right?
I am so over Jimmy Lee.
Yeah.
If I never saw Jimmy Lee again, are you serious? I can't even.
I'm on Anna K's side.
Jimmy Lee.
You do?
I do, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay, go ahead.
I love Jimmy Lee because she never held over Fauna's head that she gave up her life for her. She let her know what she did and what she was capable of. I mean, you're singing in Sammy Davis Jr. wants to take you to Capitol Records. Everyone knows who Sammy Davis Jr. was. Yeah. That's a very big deal. That's very important. But she decided that it was better for her. Now, we don't know if it's by the hand of Dr. George Odell that she had to do it, but it doesn't matter. She did it. She told her in the beginning, you always were the best dressed. Yeah. I made sure you had everything. So I like Jimmy Lee. The problem is she's going in and out of trust and non-trust because she's drinking, she's smoking.
Oh, she's a wreck in a lot of ways.
Wreck,
and she doesn't treat Fauna well. Like, she slaps her and hits her. The treatment of Fauna, that's what makes me turn off from her.
And Jimmy Lee's just doing her best, and we've seen the story a lot where you just kind of make do with what you have.
That's true.
And she probably didn't have the best childhood, so she picked up bad habits and all of that. And who even knows really how she got involved with the hotels? And
she knows something.
She knows something.
She knows something.
And clearly someone's out to get. There's danger involved. She's fearful of her life and for Fauna, but I just don't. And now I'm worried that she's in LA and she's just gonna muck up Fauna's investigation. And I just want Jimmy Lee to go back home and just sit down.
She wants Fauna to go back home.
Yeah, she came for her. She even said that, she's deep down inside, she's looking out for her for sure. She cares about her just the way she doesn't know how to show it, and she shows it in a very. I guess I'm switching my perspective on her.
Collateral damage.
But she's showing it in a very kind of aggressive, bad way.
She doesn't know. It's like she doesn't know how to love what we would consider traditional type of love. Kissing, hugging. She shows her love by saying, "Stay away, get your behind back here." Yeah, I'm protecting you, but it comes off aggressive. So Fauna's like, "You're an enemy."
Fauna can't trust her or give in to her because she feels deceived. Even by that whole hoax she pulled that she died at the, when they called her.
Oh my God.
That was dirty.
That was bad.
We talked about that. We were not into that.
But the point was there, though.
This guy.
Look, I'm just telling you. I can make a point, okay?
You do. You're holding your own.
I'm one of those people, I will do whatever it takes to get my point across. And that's kind of how I felt with Jimmy Lee. I thought it was wrong. I don't play with death.
Right. That was cruel.
Yeah, but she came in but her point was valid. She said, "Do you feel that? That's what I wanted you to feel."
Yeah. And really, it just shows the growth and the maturity of Fauna. Yes. And keep in mind, she's very adult in this, but she's kind of a kid. Like,
she's like a teen, I guess.
Or she's like, what, 15 or 16?
Maybe, 7, something like that. And so it just goes to show that she has been dealt with blow after blow after blow, but she keeps persevering and she keeps pushing on and she's seeking the truth. Even when she says, even though all this craziness is happening, when she's talking to Lawrence and she's like, you know what? What if George Hodel needs my help? What if there's something that I need to be doing? Yeah. So even her selfless in her time of need, it's just like, it's so unbelievable. So Jimmy Lee compared to her, I'm just so Team Fauna because Jimmy Lee to me just does not portray or have any of that characteristic in her. I love it so much.
Do you guys think Fauna's babysitting Jay in a lot of ways? Because he's still dealing with demons constantly.
Oh yeah, we saw a lot about PTSD, North Korea. Yes. That they're talking about that because it's an important topic.
And the drinking and kind of the sex, I guess, or with the drugs. There's a lot of stuff going on with him. And now Fauna's into this world kind of because she trusts him in a way more so than anyone else, I guess. Do you think he's going to kind of be another burden on her more than help?
I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be a burden because he was the first one who covered the murders. Mm-hmm. And so now, since it's been brought to his attention that he should pursue this information further, I don't think he's going to burden her just by trying to help her by helping himself.
What about his demons? That they're going to get in the way?
Oh, they're always going to get in the way. He doesn't address them. That's the first problem.
Well, maybe Fauna can help him through that.
She might be able to.
Maybe through their own struggle. This is getting real deep, but maybe through their own pain, right? In their own struggle.
Bring it in.
They're going to be able to help each other and basically give them the therapy that they both need to heal and move on.
They kind of need each other in a lot of ways.
Do you think she's capable of doing that at 16?
Well,
she's capable of dealing with a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we haven't even seen what she's capable of yet.
That's true.
Early prediction.
Agree. Okay.
Yeah, well, we're coming to that soon.
I know. I'm like, prediction.
But you guys can agree or disagree. I like that they finally connected Jay and Fauna. I feel like there's a safety net finally around her. That she has someone at least that's going to look out for her well-being.
If he's willing to kill for you, kill the bad guy, then I think you're doing all right. Yeah. You finally found an advocate.
Yeah, so they can trust each other, and there's a potential trip to Hawaii.
And she helped him cover it up, so they both are in this together. She's like, no, I'm not going down for this, and neither are you.
Yeah.
And so they're in this.
He was almost an idiot. He was just so apathetic. Like, let's just go. And Father said, hold up. She called my name. She looked me in my face. There's no way I can leave this man lying here.
And you're talking about those two guests who were at the art show.
Yeah.
We saw them,
They were drunk, but they weren't that drunk.
Mm-mm.
And so she said, no, we have to do something about this. And he's like, all right, let me think.
Well, it just shows like she constantly is the adult in everyone's lives.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone. Her mother's life, her boyfriend back home, her cousins, and her aunt. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's constantly the adult figure.
Right, which is crazy.
Doesn't that get exhaustive?
I guess her pursuit of the truth is keeping her going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a nice way to put it.
I like the part where Jay notifies that he's going to go to Hawaii to look for her, and Fauna's like, no, I'm coming with you. She invited herself. She's like, the only way you're going, let's make a deal here, right?
I know. I'm excited for that. I can't wait to see what happens in Hawaii.
That Hawaii thing is, you put Jay in Hawaii. And, this is extending to another state. I mean, across the waters, in a sense. They're going further to find it.
Do y'all think they really do go to Hawaii?
I hope so. I want to see what the cinematography is like when they go to Hawaii.
Does Jay have the money to get 2 tickets to Hawaii? I've been wondering that.
Yeah, like how would they get there? Where would they get the funds from? Yeah, that's a good point.
A plane, but the funds.
The funds, it's true.
Jay's a day-to-day kind of guy in a lot of ways.
Yeah, he uses all his money for drugs and alcohol.
And women. But even Fauna going back to Jay's, taking him home, making him coffee.
Yes,
she pours water on him to wake him up in the morning.
I like that.
So it really just goes to show this is going to be a very interesting relationship.
Well, wouldn't you say that this relationship with Jay is synonymous to her relationship with Jimmy Lee?
No.
You don't think so? Jimmy Lee is messed up in the head. Jimmy Lee is a heavy drinker, heavy smoker. She says things.
It's familiar to her. It's familiar to her.
No. I'm
yeah.
You know, like that's. But I mean, that's what I mean. Like she knows how to deal with this type of disposition.
Right. Someone in trouble internally.
Yeah, with the same demons, drugs and alcohol. Mm-hmm. You see, that's what. Like I think the relationships are synonymous. She always has to save Jimmy Lee. Yeah. She's saving. Remember when she first found out about her birth certificate? Jimmy Lee was drunk on the bed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, then now Jay is drunk, so she's having to... It's like she attracts the same type of person.
Jay's way more of a protector. He's way more...
He's not as aggressive to her either in that way.
Is he more of a protector?
He's out for his own agenda because he wants to solve this case, and he knows that Fauna is his ticket to doing so.
Okay, I agree.
However, I still think that there's something intrinsically about him that is more of a protector, wants to look out for this girl, doesn't want her to be in trouble. Whereas Jimmy Lee,
So you think Jay wants to protect her more than Jimmy Lee does? I think it's the same type of protection, just different ways.
Listen, there's different desires here because Jamie, she's got that. She nurtured her from a little child, so there's that internal longevity, maternal thing that goes on. She's dealing with a lot of issues, and maybe she's also hurting that she's trying to find her actual family in a way too, and kind of leaving her behind. And then with Jay, obviously Jay's number one agenda here is to solve this crime and be the guy to do it and kind of prove to himself. It's not even about money or the claim. It's more about proving to himself that he was right all along the way, that no one else saw it, and that he's kind of like this try-hard guy, in a sense that everyone's doubting him and he needs to prove it to himself. Yeah. But he looks out for her because she's an asset to his case, a major one. And I think there's always this good side of Jay in a way. He does care in a sense about these people, even though he seems like a wreck himself. But like that previous episode where that woman that came over and she kind of wanted sex with him or whatever.
The one in the lobby.
Yeah, the one that was like drugged up and drunk, and Jay said no to it. Like, there's a redeeming quality about him, that there's like this good person underneath all that mess. Now, I'm wondering this. Do you guys think that there's going to be anything romantic between Fauna and Jay?
Oh, I would hope not.
One of the things I was going to mention, I like that they haven't sexualized her.
Yeah.
Like she kind of has a thing with Lawrence, but he's age appropriate.
Well, it is the 60s.
It is the 60s.
Yeah.
I thought the kid Nero, I thought bad things were going to happen in that regard. I was like, oh God, I really don't want her to get hurt.
Well, remember,
Nero,
Big Mama said, "Bad apple, rotten tree." Mm-hmm.
So I was nervous. So I'm I'm sad that he's dead, kind of, but I'm kind of glad he's out of the picture. But I'm glad that they haven't really sexualized her and Jay, and I hope that she is age appropriate or find something more pure. I don't know. It just feels like he needs to be a big brother figure rather than a lover.
Yeah, I don't think
she's got work to do. She's got time for that.
We got work to do too. We have a special segment right now. Yeah. Oh, there's the music. Okay, so this week's special segment, I know we talked about the favorite kind of, or the most interesting unsolved story, kind of horror story, but what is the most fascinating to you individually, a real world event that hasn't been solved yet that you've always wondered about? For me, I'm going to start out with the pyramids. I'm thinking it's aliens, because there's no way people could put that together and centuries later we still have it standing.
What about you?
I don't have an argument for that. Okay, fine. I'm going to go more pop culture focused.
Okay.
And I'm going to go, I mentioned this last week, but I was talking about JonBenet Ramsey, but I also mentioned OJ. OJ's still my number one.
Okay.
It's like, we know, but people think they don't know. But like, I know he did it. So
I'd have to take JonBenet Ramsey then.
Yeah.
She would probably be one of my top. The Loch Ness Monster would probably be number 2.
That's a good one. That's one that's been around for a long time.
A long time.
Now, predictions. We're 2 more episodes away from the finale. What are you guys thinking? I'm thinking one thing that...
TV
that's right.
prediction.
There it goes. I'm jumping ahead of it.
Because you're so excited.
Yes, I'm so hyped for the show. I think we're going to see George Hadell be part of where we see Corinne, and I think there's something that he done from her. Maybe he removed a potential child from her life.
Yeah.
So I think that's why she's holding something against him. Maybe he performed some sort of surgery on her unwillingly or whatnot. I think there's animosity there.
Bad dude. My prediction is more about collateral damage. There are people that do not make it out alive. I'm just going to throw it out there, whether it's Lawrence, Jimmy Lee, Jay. Someone's not going to make it through.
Okay, my prediction is that they try and find Tamar, and hopefully Tamar has information for them if she's found.
In Hawaii.
Yeah, in Hawaii. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Okay.
You know, I don't know. They want to go to Hawaii. If they do go, if they don't go, I really want to know what's going to happen there.
Well, we'll find out next week when we're covering the finale, the 5th and 6th episode.
Yes.
So where can they catch you in the meantime, everyone?
Yes, thanks guys for being here. I'm Anna K. Thomas on all social media.
I'm Joshua Wright, cleverly clad on all social media.
And I am the Jim Alexander on all social media and at realtalker.com. That's it for this week.
All right.
Tune in next week. We will be wrapping up this show. All the mysteries, all the things will be solved finally, hopefully. We'll see you guys next week.
Yes.
Bye, y'all.
All right.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.